Well, I am truly honored. In recent weeks, I've been given 2 free games on Steam to play by my viewers. The first was Glow Ball, the billiard puzzle game which the developer himself asked me to play. I've already posted a quick little review on that. Glow Ball was a good foundation for a game, but had some flaws where you could tell the developer hadn't thought the whole game out yet. Overall, it was a promising start for a game, and I'll be interested to see what the dev does with it. The second game I received was New Kind of Adventure, and boy howdy, if there was ever a game that deserved to be drug out behind the shed and 2 shotgun shells put into its dumb face, it's this heap of feces! This game is still in early access, meaning the game isn't complete yet, but this thing is being sold for money. It's still being sold as a product, and there's just no excuse for this level of incompetence. The game starts at, yeah, just like Air Control, the game's graphics don't load up correctly unless I alt-tab out of the game first. Great icon for the game's launcher, isn't it? Not either of the main characters or a view of some scenery, just the letter N. Anyway, the game just dumps you into this big open field when you start the game. You're not given any story unless you press the U key. A little girl named Mary hid in her closet to get away from her parents fighting, and she woke up in this fantasy world with 2 moons and giant strawberries. She met a blue man named Aquarius, who was told by his people's elders to get Mary the f off their planet. So it's up to Mary and Aquarius to find the portal between worlds and send Mary home back to her parents that are probably about to go through a painful divorce. Yay. This is all conveyed to you via text block, by the way. The controls are really weird. Moving the mouse turns the camera, obviously, but the camera is constantly moving to position itself directly behind your character. You're constantly fighting against the game to point the camera where you want it. Pressing the forward key moves your character forward in the direction they're facing, not forward in relation to the camera, which often sends you running in the complete opposite direction because it's so counterintuitive. Pressing the left and right keys makes you turn instead of moving in that direction, and the camera turns with you, which further throws you off if you're trying to actually aim the camera at something. Basically, the game is programmed so that the camera always moves where you need to point it on its own, so you never need to adjust it, and it seems like the game is designed to be played with nothing but the keyboard without ever touching the mouse. Okay, fine, nice idea, then don't map controls to the mouse if touching the damn thing just screws the controls over backwards! And if the game is designed so that I should never be touching the mouse, then why do I need to click the mouse to exit text boxes? Oops! You can press the C key to switch between Mary and Aquarius, but the characters don't follow each other around. If you go exploring with one character and switch to the other, you find the other character picking their nose out in the middle of nowhere, and you have to try and track down where the other character went. The game doesn't even have indicators showing you where the other character is, so better not get lost. There's also no run key, so getting anywhere is tedious and slow. What's funny is that if you switch characters at the right time, you can find the other character running into a wall. Anyway, if you stand in certain areas of the map, it will remind you that you can press H for help, which really just gives you a list of key bindings. It all boils down to press E to perform special actions and press T for a list of tasks, except this is what appears when you press T. In version 0.2, the tasks are to learn how to switch characters, got that down pat in a whole 2 seconds, and how to use magic and explore this new world. Remember that Mary can carry strawberries and Aquarius can use his magic to grow plants. Notice how that didn't explain dick about what I'm actually supposed to do. So whatever, I start wandering around trying to figure out what I can do. There are 3 of these weird dudes in cloaks called druids standing around, but all they do is offer to sell you weapons in exchange for gems or strawberry jam. This is one whacked-out economy. What's weird is that each of these druids has the exact same inventory and the exact same asking prices as each other. They're all the same guy carrying the same shit and standing just a few yards away from one another. I think first I'll try going through this cave. That glowy stuff over there looks important. This area is not available in alpha version. Okay, never mind. As mentioned earlier, each character has special abilities. Aquarius can make plants bloom by playing music, which, whoop-de shit, there's only 5 flowers you can do this to, and making them bloom does absolutely nothing. Maybe that little round thing that comes out of the flower when it blooms is the gem the druids ask for. I just need Mary to get them so she can jump really high. Get up there! Get up there! Grab the damn ball! Those aren't items that you can pick up. This girl just refuses to grab any balls. And don't you love it? There's absolutely no jumping animation. The character just goes rocketing up into the sky without so much as bending their legs, or even funnier, running their legs from the regular walking animation like they're stepping through air. I'd crack a joke postulating that they propel themselves upward by farting really hard, but both characters are wearing skirts. We'd see the back lift up if they farted. The game's frame rate is also really choppy when you move. Turning just makes the game look awful. Mary's other special ability is that she can pick up these giant strawberries, but what the hell do I do with them? Do I give them to the druids to turn them into jam? No. Do I take them to these glowing beacon things? No. Do I chuck them off a high ledge to try and smash them into jam? No. Do I put them in the water? No. Do I take them to these flowers that the game made a huge deal of making them bloom? No. Okay, now I'm losing my patience. What the hell do I do with these damn strawberries? How do I get the jam? Is it even physically possible, or is jam also not available in alpha version? So these druids ask for either gems or strawberry jam, and I can't figure out how the hell you get either of them. Not like I need the weapons at the shop anyway. I haven't run into a single enemy yet. It's physically impossible to die in this game. Seriously, I've run across this field and that cave a half dozen times and not a single thing has happened yet. What am I supposed to do? Where am I supposed to go? There's obvious platforms leading up this waterfall. I guess I'm supposed to go up there. If the controls weren't so damn stiff, that platform is way too far away to possibly make the jump, even with Mary. I'm pretty sure the only way over there is to exploit a glitch, where the characters will hover in midair if you jump into an invisible wall. That's great game design. Oh, God! Just imagine that I said something snappy about Jared Fogle while I wonder if YouTube will make me go back and censor that. This area is not available in alpha version. Of course. Of course it is. So apparently I am supposed to be able to cross that gap that you can only traverse by glitching. Oh, I didn't see this path off to the side here. It goes down to what looks like more of a mountainous area. There's another druid with the same crap. I'll just ignore him. You son of a bitch! This area is not available in alpha version, so where do I go? And don't you love it? This game that is designed to be played entirely without a mouse requires you to use the mouse to exit these alpha version text boxes, and the camera moves at the same time when you try to navigate the text box. I spent half an hour running laps around this area where you spawn in, the cave, the waterfall, and the mountains. Those are the only paths in this room, and every single path leads to a black void that hasn't been built. This field with a tiny cave is the entire game world because none of the mother humping levels are finished yet. What the hell am I supposed to do with this? Just walk around getting bored till I shut the game off? There's really nothing else to say about the game. There's nothing to do except walk around this starting area because there isn't a single completed gameplay mechanic. There are absolutely no sound effects beyond Aquarius playing his flute. There's one music track that's about 30 seconds long and loops endlessly. I eventually figured out that these glowing beacon things are teleporters, and it took me a while to figure that out because there's no animation when you use one. You just instantaneously appear at the next one. Instant transmission, I guess. And it's disorienting as hell trying to figure out where it just sent you. And lest you think maybe these teleporters take you to the actual game, the teleporters only send you between the 4 beacons in this field, which raises the question, why have these teleporters if they only send you places you can easily just walk to on their own? It's like they keep throwing in these mechanics that do nothing just to show you what might possibly the game would look like if it ever gets finished. Plus, only Mary is allowed to use the teleporters, so Mary can jump super high, carry things, and use teleporters, and all Aquarius can do is play music. This guy sucks! The tasks talked about learning how to use magic, but growing flowers so that they cannot do shit is the only magic that I've seen or been told how to do. Eventually I noticed there's a number in the corner of the screen that goes up and down at total random. I think it's just a frame rate counter. It's just as useless as everything else in this glorified walking simulator. So, just to recap, just to get this all straight, this game has no finished levels. I clocked it. You can run the entire circumference of the game world in just under 3 minutes. None of the game's mechanics are complete because the flowers and strawberries that you can interact with do absolutely nothing. There's no way out of this starting area where there's absolutely nothing to do. The shops trade in items that don't exist. There is no combat. There are no objectives. There's no way to win. There's no way to lose. There's not even a way to quit. I'm serious, there is no in-game way to exit the game. You either have to Alt-Tab out of the game and close it externally, or use Control-Alt-Delete. I don't know what's more pathetic. All of that? Or the fact that the dev team looked over this heap and said, yep, this is an acceptable state to put the game on Steam. People will pay money for one empty room. New Kind of Adventure is the embodiment of everything that is wrong with Steam Early Access. Early Access is a place for developers to release largely finished games to work out bugs, gather user feedback, and make some spare cash to add a few extra features to the game. It's intended to tweak a game before its full release, but there's a lot of developers who think that Early Access is just an easy excuse to sell garbage that's completely unplayable. Spend a few hours cobbling together something that's so incomplete it makes big rigs look good, call it a prototype, and sell it to people by saying, we'll make this an actual game later. Totes like for reals. You might say it's not fair to review an unfinished game, but I think I can tell the difference between an honest developer genuinely trying to make a good game and a hack who's further from making a good game than Fox is from making a good Fantastic Four movie. I mean, Jesus Christ, how many times do you have to completely fail before you get the hint to move on and do something else? Jim Sterling played this game for his YouTube channel back at the start of June, almost 3 months ago, and near as I can tell, the game is in the exact same state now as when Jim played it. 3 additional months in development, and they still don't have a single level completed. They haven't added a single mechanic, animation, or new square inch of game world. And all of this in spite of developers' claim on the Steam storefront page that the game would be updated regularly. Either this game is a scam or the developer has long since given up, and this one empty room is all this game's ever going to be. But even if I'm wrong and the dev was sincere and totally intended to finish this game, why in the actual hell would you put this game up for sale in this condition? You want to advertise and get us hyped for your game, and you decide to do that with one empty valley with nothing to do. I was going to call this game a piece of shit, but that doesn't even feel accurate. It's more akin to a noxious fart cloud because the developer couldn't even be bothered to shit. Scam or idiocy, I don't know, but one thing's for certain.
You are either lying or you're stupid!